Hello, I want to welcome you to my channel. Today, I will share with you an experience that a lady named Frillander had. Jesus revealed to her the dates some of his servants will die. Watch to the end. Remain blessed. It was a Friday morning, October 4th, 2024, and everything seemed normal. I had left the house later than planned, rushing to catch up with my schedule. I remember thinking how beautiful the day was. As I drove down the main road, I noticed a delivery truck ahead of me moving unusually slow. Impatient, I decided to switch lanes. I checked my mirrors and eased into the left lane. Everything seemed fine until, in a split second, it wasn't. A car came speeding toward me from the opposite direction. It veered sharply, swaying from side to side, and before I could fully process what was happening, it crossed into my lane. I gripped the steering wheel tightly, my heart pounding as I instinctively slammed on the brakes. I remember the sound first. The other car hit mine head-on, the force of the collision throwing me forward. The airbag deployed with a loud burst, cushioning my face but leaving my chest aching from the impact. The world around me turned chaotic. Shards of glass flew through the air, sparkling like tiny stars before landing on the dashboard and floor. My car jolted violently before coming to a stop. My head hit the headrest hard, and I felt a sharp pain shoot through my neck. For a moment, there was only silence. The kind of silence that feels eerie, like the world has been placed on pause. My body felt heavy, like I was sinking into the seat, and a strange numbness began to creep over me. I tried to move my arms, but they didn't respond. My vision blurred, and everything around me started to fade. It was as if the colors and sounds of the world were dissolving, leaving me in a haze of gray. Then a sudden shift that I can't fully explain. It felt like being pulled gently but firmly out of myself. One moment I was aware of my battered body in the car, and the next I was floating above it, looking down. I saw the crumpled hood of my car, the shattered windshield, and the twisted metal of the other vehicle. People were running toward the scene, shouting and pointing, but their voices were muffled, distant. It was surreal, like watching a scene in a movie. I wasn't afraid. In fact, I felt an odd sense of peace. The pain, the panic, the chaos, they were gone. I was no longer tethered to the wreckage below. Instead, I felt weightless, as though I was being carried by an unseen force. As I drifted higher, the scene below became smaller and smaller, until it disappeared entirely. I didn't know where I was going, but I felt no need to question it. There was a warmth surrounding me, a light drawing me in. That was the moment I realized I had left the physical world behind. I was no longer on the road, no longer trapped in the chaos of the accident. Instead, I found myself in a place so extraordinary that words hardly seem adequate to describe it. The first thing I noticed was the light. It was everywhere, yet it wasn't harsh or blinding. It was soft and warm, wrapping around me like a comforting embrace. The air was different, pure, as though it carried the essence of peace itself. I stood in awe, unsure of where I was or how I had arrived, but there was no fear. Then I heard it. Music. A sound so beautiful that it seemed to fill not just the air but every part of my being. It wasn't like anything I had ever heard on earth. There were harmonies so intricate and pure that they seemed to weave together, creating a melody that resonated deep within my soul. As I looked around, I saw angels. They were unlike any depiction I had ever seen or imagined. Their presence was majestic yet gentle, their faces radiant with joy. They stood in countless numbers, their forms glowing with a light that seemed to come from within. The angels were singing. I couldn't understand the words, but I felt their meaning deep in my heart. They were singing praises to God, exalting His name with a passion that was both humbling and uplifting. My heart swelled with a sense of joy and peace that I had never known before. Time seemed to stand still as I took it all in. I felt small in the presence of such magnificence, yet at the same time, I felt deeply loved. It was as though the angels' worship drew me closer to something infinitely greater, something my soul had longed for without even realizing it. As the angelic melodies began to fade, I noticed a change in my surroundings. The brilliance of the light softened, and I found myself standing in what could only be described as a garden, not like any garden I had ever seen, but one that felt alive in every sense of the word. I felt an unexplainable pull to walk down it, as if my very soul was being drawn toward something or someone. Then I saw Jesus. At the end of the path stood Jesus. His presence was radiant, yet not overwhelming. He looked at me with eyes that held the depth of eternity, filled with love, compassion, and an understanding. I couldn't move at first. My knees felt weak, and my heart raced, overwhelmed by the sight of him. Tears welled in my eyes, and I fell to my knees. I didn't feel worthy to stand before him, yet at the same time, I felt an indescribable pull toward his presence. I stood, trembling, and he stepped closer. His gaze met mine, and in that instant, every fear, every doubt, and every burden I had ever carried seemed to melt away. I felt exposed, as though he could see every part of me, even the hidden corners of my soul. But instead of judgment, I felt only love. A love so pure and unconditional that it brought fresh tears to my eyes. He revealed to me the lives of 3 of his faithful servants, each of whom had walked a unique path of service, challenges, and unwavering commitment to God's calling. He revealed to me the lives of 3 of his faithful servants, each of whom had walked a unique path of service, challenges, and unwavering commitment to God's calling. Jesus revealed to me the journey of Bishop T.D. Jakes. In what was revealed to me, I saw T.D. Jakes as a man who had faced countless trials throughout his life. From the very beginning, his ministry had been marked by challenges that tested his faith and resilience. He carried the weight of responsibility not just for his congregation, but for millions who looked up to him for spiritual guidance. I saw how through the years, he had been tested in ways that only God could see. Accusations, misunderstandings, and spiritual battles had come his way, yet he remained steadfast, trusting in the Lord for strength. He faced pressures that many would crumble under, but he chose to press forward, knowing that his work was for a higher purpose. Jesus revealed that T.D. Jakes had not only endured but had poured himself out for the kingdom of God. His sermons, his writings, his leadership, they were all rooted in a deep desire to glorify God and uplift others. But now, Jesus explained, it was time for him to find rest. It pleased God to call him home, to bring him into a place of eternal peace where his soul would no longer bear the burdens of the world. Next, Jesus revealed to me the life of Joel Osteen. In what he showed I saw Joel Osteen as a man whose ministry had reached millions around the world with a message of hope and encouragement. But behind the smiles and uplifting words, Joel had faced a torrent of challenges that few truly understood. Jesus revealed the pain Joel had endured in silence, the accusations, the judgment, and the skepticism from those who doubted his intentions. There were whispers and criticisms, questioning his theology, his motives, and his approach to ministry. Some accused him of watering down the gospel, while others labeled his optimism as superficial. Yet through it all, Joel persevered. Jesus showed me how Joel had carried these burdens with grace, choosing not to retaliate or defend himself but instead to continue sharing the message of God's love. His heart was pure, focused on encouraging those who felt lost or broken. Jesus revealed that despite the challenges, Joel had remained faithful, and his reward was waiting for him in heaven. Now, the time was approaching for Joel to join the heavenly host. He would receive his crown of glory, not for how he was perceived by man but for how he was seen by God. His life had been a testament to perseverance and trust, and heaven was preparing a place for him among those who had fought the good fight. Finally, Jesus revealed to me the story of Joyce Meyer, a woman who had overcome unimaginable trials to become a beacon of faith and hope for countless people. Her life had been marked by battles, both external and internal, that could have destroyed her, but she chose to surrender them to God. Jesus showed me how Joyce had endured deep personal pain, the scars of her past shaping her ministry but never defining her. She had faced rejection, criticism, and spiritual warfare, yet her trust in God never wavered. Her teachings, her books, and her words had reached people in the darkest corners of their lives, offering them the light of Christ. Despite the accolades and recognition, Joyce had remained humble, always pointing others toward God and not herself. Jesus revealed that heaven had seen her quiet moments of struggle, the tears she shed in prayer, and the sacrifices she made to serve others. Now, her time on earth was drawing to a close. Jesus revealed that her faithfulness had not gone unnoticed. Heaven was ready to welcome her, and she would join the angels in singing praises to God, her earthly battles finally over. He revealed that the appointed times for these three servants of God to return to him had already been determined. There was no hesitation or uncertainty in what he shared. It was as though heaven's clock was set, and these moments were marked in eternity. First, he revealed the date for T.D. Jakes. June 18th. I saw the day as if it had been etched in light, clear and undeniable. Jesus revealed to me that on this day, Bishop Jakes would step into glory. It was a moment of rejoicing, not mourning, for his life of service and obedience had pleased the Lord. Then, Jesus revealed the date for Joyce Meyer. June 28th. It felt as though the heavens themselves awaited this day, for Joyce's faithfulness and perseverance had not gone unnoticed. Her appointed time would bring her into the eternal rest she had spoken of so often, where her spirit would join the angels in unending worship. Finally, Jesus revealed the date for Joel Osteen. August 3rd. As the date appeared before me, I felt the weight of its significance. His journey, one marked by hope in the face of adversity, would come to a close on earth, but it would be the beginning of an eternity in the presence of God. The precision of these dates left me in awe. It was not for me to question why or how they were chosen. It was clear that this was part of God's divine plan. There was no fear or sorrow in Jesus' words, only assurance. Each of these servants had fulfilled their earthly assignments, and their appointed times were moments of victory, not loss. Though my human heart struggled to grasp the finality of these revelations, my mind raced, and my heart cried out for understanding. I wanted to ask 1,000 questions, to beg for a different outcome, to find a way to change what I had been shown. I looked at Jesus, whose gaze remained steady and filled with love. There was no judgment in his eyes, only compassion. But I couldn't help myself. I had to speak, to voice the confusion that weighed so heavily on my heart. "Lord," I said, my voice trembling, "can this be changed? Is there any way to delay this? Why now, Lord? Why these dates, why them? Can't they stay longer with us?" I felt the depth of my plea as it left my lips. I wasn't questioning his authority, but the side of me longed for more time, for these beloved servants to continue their work on earth, to continue touching lives. Why did it have to be so soon? Why couldn't there be more? Jesus stood quietly before me, his expression soft yet filled with a peace that transcended everything. After a moment, he spoke, but not with the answer I had expected. His voice was calm. "My child," he began, his words laced with a gentle authority that reached deep within me, "you see time through the eyes of earth, but I see it through the eyes of eternity. What you long for is not wrong, but what you must understand is that my will is perfect. Every life, every breath, every moment is part of a greater plan." And then suddenly I was back. I felt a sharp intake of breath, as if I had been underwater and had just emerged to the surface, gasping for air. I opened my eyes, blinking against the harsh light overhead. I tried to sit up, but my body felt weak, as if I had been disconnected from it for far too long. My mind raced, trying to make sense of what had just happened. It was as though I had been in a dream, or perhaps something even deeper, a place where time and space had no meaning. I want to speak directly to your hearts, my fellow believers. The near-death experience I was shown is not just a personal experience. It's a reminder for all of us to be watchful, to be prepared, and to live with the awareness that Christ may call any one of us home at any time. Life on earth is fragile. We often live as though we have forever, but the truth is, none of us know when our appointed time will come. Whether it is in a moment of peace or a moment of struggle, God's plan unfolds in ways we cannot fully comprehend, and we must be ready for that moment. The lives of those like T.D. Jakes, Joel Osteen, and Joyce Meyer, each of them has given so much in service to God. Yet, their time on earth is coming to an end, and the Lord will call them home. Don't let your heart grow complacent. Don't take another day for granted. Live with the knowledge that God's will is always perfect, even when we don't understand it. Trust in His plan, and live as if today could be the day that we meet Him face to face. Be ready, always ready, to give an account of the life you've lived and the faith you've held. I urge you to share this message, to encourage others to be watchful, to trust in God's plan. There are many who need to hear this reminder, to be prepared for the call of Christ, to live in readiness for His return. Please, take a moment to subscribe, to like, and to share this video. Let us not grow weary in doing good. Let us remain steadfast in our trust in God's perfect plan. Share this message, share this near-death experience, and encourage the hearts of others to live ready, knowing that our hope and peace rest in Him alone.